Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 599 of Python Radio. In this episode, I'm joined by your friend. Good to see him back in the saddle again. Our fellow OP brother, Keith McPeek. That's right. He's here. We're talking Sanzina. What's that you say? That's not Morelia.
Correct. But it's the most Morelia-like boa we could think of. So
They really are.
I thank you.
Shit.
That's
Their
what
heads
I'm
look
saying.
like a carpet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, except for the I love the face.
But that's the face
scalation.
and that's what you want. And then, we're sitting there, we're like, the colors are just, I'm like, that's the problem is Keith's like, you want Sanzina. And I'm like, I don't want Sanzina. And then he posts up a thing. He goes, look at this one. Look at it. Look at the little green guy. Look at him. And I'm like, yeah. And it's
we have how many? I don't know. I've been to your place, like maybe 4 or 5 times, something like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen the boas, I've seen them. I've seen all your stuff. I looked through it. I watched it. It's cage by cage. You go through it, look in, and it's like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. But there's something about seeing it when you understand what it is, I guess, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So now that I'm down this boa rabbit hole, I was looking on your page, Keith, and I'm like, oh my God, did I see that? How did I miss that?
I was like that with rough scale pythons until I held one in hand.
Mm-hmm.
It changed everything for me. And then when I heard Casey talk about rough scale, it just changed everything for me. It does change things for you for sure.
Yeah. It's I don't know. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like, I wonder how many other reptile, I think we talked about this before, Owen, but how many reptile, genres that I have no clue about that exist in the world, just like we exist in the carpet python world, and it's
that we're not tapped into because
that we're not. Yeah. And you don't know what's going on.
It hits you when you turn 65.
Oh, so really? Eric's got
15
all
years.
Of a sudden,
15 years.
All right, I worked with that. Give me something else. Okay, I worked with that. Give me some. I want to experience it all.
Well, that was something else because we were talking with Martin about diamonds and stuff in the last episode, and we were like, every single cage, Martin has a banger. Like every single animal serves a purpose and serves a thing. Keith is on that same freaking level because you're like every single cage, you're like, that is a banger. That's a pair that he picked for a purpose. His Hog Island boas, which I need the babies I have to stop progressing on and being pretty because I'm like, I can't I love the dark Argentines and then these Hog Island boas just every time they shed, it's like this is insane color and shit like that. So but every single one was picked to be a banger between the blackheads, all the boas, the Sanzina projects. His the bulls, the red bulls that I'm never allowed to see. Don't ever show me them again. Don't ever let me see babies of them again. No, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I got a female here with your name on it. Baby.
Don't do that. Why would you do that to me? Red. Listen, I can't. Careful, I'll bring scrubs to your place if I produce them. I can't just be another roughie.
So we're going to talk about Sanzina, and then also you've been keeping a lot of aquatic.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Lizards, right?
Yeah. So
that's true. You do love the water. You're both guys. Yeah. Fishermen. Yeah.
I guess next they're Cayman lizards. Are we really going to take that dive yet, or wait until we can move into the new place?
I don't know. You know what I'm going down the rabbit hole with is leaf-tailed geckos too.
Oh shit! That would be fun though. Could you imagine getting a little art kind of thing where you could really let them blend in and do that leaf tail stuff? And you're unlike myself and Eric. You can keep plants alive, which is the miracle.
Wait a minute.
Eric's sister is the plant wizard.
Exactly, she is. I mean, it's all my plants are fake.
Pretty good with I'm pretty good with plants, just not ferns. I'm not good with ferns. No good with ferns.
Okay. So I'm just the plant murderer here. Okay. Yes. Well, except for my one.
You do have to water them. They do need light.
Anyway.
All All right, so we're going to talk Sanzina, but so Keith, you've had these in the past, right?
Yeah, I had them. Oh, man, I wish I could remember the year. You guys know that I'm terrible at like record keeping and all that. You guys are like so on top of that shit, and I just my thing is just watching the animals in the cage, I guess, and I don't care about records. But yeah, I got them way back when. I got greens from Tracy and Dave Barker that were Dallas Zoo animals, came with paperwork and all that kind of stuff. And then I got the Mandarin of the Volantani from Tom Crutchfield way back in the day. And I worked with those for a while and I bred them. And then there was a whole big scare in the community and stuff. And I made a dumb mistake of getting rid of them. And lo and behold, I don't know what, maybe 8-9 years ago, I was lucky enough to get animals back from friends that trusted me with the animals. And I've been working with them ever since. And definitely probably my favorite snake in the collection for sure.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Those and Bolivian boas are my two favorites, I would say for sure. Those are something that I can see long time working with, you know.
And you're like you said, you're a behavior guy. So like, is it something that they do behavior wise, or is it just the look of them, or is it just the idea of them?
I think it's the idea and the mystique about, you know, the two species being on Madagascar. Like Madagascar is a magical island to begin with, you know, between Papua and Madagascar and Australia. Those are the things that really like, you know, turn me on. But I mentioned leaf-tail geckos, and I've been doing a lot of research on leaf-tails and finding how they're in the same habitat as the eastern Sanzina, and how that correlates with husbandry and captivity. And maybe, you know, the easterns are a lot harder to breed than the westerns, and I think a lot of people are failing for some husbandry aspects. So I've been really looking at that, why I've been successful and other people struggle with it. And I've been looking at the leaf-tail geckos, and a lot of that stuff kind of correlates with how people maybe are keeping the easterns wrong in captivity.
So the easterns are the green and the westerns are the mandarins, right?
Correct. And so the easterns on the eastern side of the island, obviously, it's a more rainforest, more humid, more jungly type habitat, where the western side of Madagascar is more of a drier, more arid type habitat. And the easterns, you know, being on the eastern side, they have a constant breeze and humidity that are coming into these forests and these highlands. They say their range is from sea level to over 4,000 feet. So I don't know. I talked to Paul Mitzfeld quite a bit, and you know, we're thinking that there's probably populations that are varied, you know, and isolated that are probably different. You know, more research has to be done on that. But also, like the leaf-tail geckos that inhabit the eastern, more of the eastern and northern side of the island, that require cooler temperatures. You know, that's why I started looking at all that kind of stuff. But you know, they have a constant breeze, they have higher humidity. And it's more of an jungle type habitat than on the western side of the island.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Where are the Dumerals boas at? Are they in the east or the west?
I actually printed this thing out today, believe it or not, for ranges. I was gonna send it to you, and I didn't send it to you, but
I love
they're kind of southerly.
Okay.
On the island. And the Madagascarensis,
the ground boa.
The ground boas are kind of spread out more on the western side.
Favorite. Oh, they're so beautiful. Those
ground
boas.
You know, when I had that pair, you heard the story. I kill myself every time I think about that pair. I should have just hung on to them and worked with them. But hopefully one day I'll get those again. At least a pair anyway.
Yeah. Well, I should ask this question. I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Maybe I did in a different way, but like, you've been a python guy forever. Were you always a boa and python guy, or you just, how did you?
I was always a lizard guy. I started out as a kid as a lizard guy. My brother was a snake guy. as I grew up, there was just a mystique. Like, I could collect. I would go to Texas. My sister and brother-in-law lived there, and I would go to Texas and catch a lot of colubrids and bring them back. So I felt like I could get colubrids locally and around the country, not realizing what was really out there back then, because information was a lot, not as free as it is now. So boas and pythons were always the exotics to me, not realizing how exotics, there's a lot of colubrids that are exotic. So I gravitated toward those in the beginning, and boas actually were my first thing that I liked working with, because in my head I said, hey, the mother's doing all the work, she knows what to do, versus me trying to incubate eggs, because there wasn't a lot of information when I started on even incubating eggs. So I'm like, let the mom figure it out. I'll give her a wide range of stuff and let her figure it all out. So I worked with a lot of boas before I really dove into the pythons.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. So then you're just coming back full circle for the boas that you didn't work with or loved working with earlier on. Yeah.
I mean, something for a kid of the 60s and 70s is just so classic with boa constrictors, first of all. So I can look at boa constrictors' facial patterns all day long and just be like excited about it. It's just something to me that's just classic. And, it just makes me feel like that original kid looking at a snake for the first time,
Yeah. I have images of, we could take this trip to here. We could go here.
Yeah.
We could go see this here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
For sure.
I guess maybe it's closer than Australia, right?
A little bit. It's a little bit closer.
It depends on where we're going. If we're going to see Argentines, probably not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was watching Quetzal had just gone and visited Honduran Island, and was looking at Hog Island, and was looking at the Hog Isle bows in nature and how arboreal they were, and we keep them so much different than that, and it was just cool to see all the pictures that he was posting on that.
We'll get into Sanzini, I swear, but that's a question that makes me think a lot of times. Like, what do you think it is that how the animals, we keep them in captivity seems to work, but it's not exactly what's going on with them in the wild? Or maybe is it because we don't have a complete understanding, or maybe it's micro things that they're doing,
habitat? I think the animals we keep the most and that we do the best with are the most forgiving, and the animals that we struggle with, we're doing everything wrong. Sanzina are definitely, like you said, carpet wise, very much like a carpet python, and they do very well and are very hardy as captives. It's just when it comes to breeding, the Easterns are a little harder than the Westerns. They're both, more advanced. When you breed them, you definitely, went up a notch on your level of experience for sure, either one. But they're very hardy captives. If you want to just keep them in a cage and enjoy them for what they are, they're super hardy. It's just when it comes to breeding that, you have to play around a little bit.
They remind me very diamond python. I'm thinking of being in your room and being in that outside room where they are. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cold. And it was cold. I mean, not cold, but definitely colder than the room.
Yeah. Colder.
Well, anybody that's kept animals for any length of time knows that there's animals you just click with. And it might not be that you're so experienced or you're this or that. It's just that you have the right ambient conditions for that animal. And I think my outside basement area, being that it's 68 to 70 max year round, is the key why I do really good, with Sanzini in general.
Right. And that's a full basement, right? So okay. Yeah.
So what's the Sanzini collection look like currently?
So I have all my breeder animals currently are animals that are from Matt Minatola,
we know that guy,
and Elijah from Juggernaut Reptiles. And like I said, Matt came across a couple of animals really randomly, bought the animals up, and he said, listen, you do good with the greens, why don't you take these? we didn't really know how to sex them correctly. I'll go back a little bit. When I was first breeding them, my first clutches, I didn't know any better. Nobody knew, like and I was used to popping snakes, and it caused a lot of kinks on the first animals that I started with that I bred. So when we got Matt's animals, I was very leery on trying to sex those animals. Since then, I found out that 99.99% of the time, males have spurs, females don't. And when they're first born, even though the spurs may be small, if you use a credit card, a bright light, you can always find spurs on the males, and the females don't have spurs. So they're very easy to sex if you spend the time doing it. So I got those animals from Matt. I got Elijah, I don't know, some random classified ad thing had this like picture of this snake. And he's like, holy crap, that's a green Sanzina. And he picked it up, and it was a female. And he's like, I'm never going to find a male for it. Why don't you take it? So I took that, figuring I'd find a male, or maybe one of Matt's animals would turn out to be a male. But Matt's animals actually turned out to be all females. So I went to the Tinley show with Matt, and Paul Mitzfeld was there. And I had brought the Sanzina because he really knows a lot about them. So I'm like, why don't you take a look at these? Why don't we try sexing them? Yeah. Which he did. And he's like, they're both females. He's like, you definitely have females. I'm like, oh shit. So he's like, I got males. And I'm like, send them over.
I got boys.
He was willing to do it. So he sent me males. And I've been working with that group as my breeders. And I think the last 5 years, I've bred all those 3 females that I have here over the last 5 years, in different ways. And the babies have gone to Matt, to Elijah, to Paul, and I've kept some, and we're raising all those animals up. Some have gotten sold off along the way to kind of help fund the project, but most of the animals have been kept and are being raised up. And, that's one thing about being in the hobby for a long time, having good friends that are in the hobby for the same reason as you are. We're swapping stuff back and forth. We're getting animals from other breeders so we can trade with them and get new blood. And, we're trying to do the right thing, build a good group, and be able to get animals out there to everybody that wants to enjoy these things anyhow. So,
yeah. No, that's awesome.
Is there a lot in the hobby as far as that species, or either one of them?
So really, if you look, the Sanzini Volantani, there's more people breeding those. They seem to be, fairly easy to find in the States. The Easterns are the ones that are super hard to find, the green ones. I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 litters born a year, and they're usually, spoken for before they even, you don't see them on the market. And if you do, it's usually a lone male that, somebody's sex ratio worked out where they just have a lone male to sell. Right. So they've become pretty hard to get, which is funny because in Europe, there's so many of them being bred, right? Apparently you can't get rid of them over there, so.
That's crazy. So it really has no value at all.
It's funny because pulling up Morph Market right now, Sanzina boy, Sanzina boy, Sanzina boy, Sanzina boy. These are Western.
That's Mandarins, right?
Yeah. No, wait. The Westerns are Mandarins.
Westerns are the Mandarins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mandarin. Matt.
Yeah, Matt has an Eastern.
Matt has an Eastern. Then I got 2 females. Oh, it's a pair. That's a Western Sanzina pair. Yeah. But I believe there's not an Eastern on here, except for Matt's. You said it's an Eastern. Right. No, Matt says Western.
From the litters we bred this year. I got this year.
Matt says Western Sanzina.
Oh, he is trying to get rid of a Western too. I thought he had an Eastern on there, but
either it's sold or he thought differently. Yeah. But there's a. I mean, I was not expecting this amount of Sanzina because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 up. Yeah. I wasn't expecting 10. I was expecting 2.
Yeah, so, I think the Westerns are being bred more often. Mm-hmm. And they're easier to breed typically because of their habitat compared to the Easterns,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's animals like you look at the leaf-tail geckos and you look at the husbandry of almost every species on there.
Yeah.
And if you get them into the 80s, they're dead. Like they want to be
Really?
in the 70s. And they inhabit, the same, they go from, I don't know, 1,000 feet above sea level up to 5,000 feet above sea level, roughly the
Mhm.
same as the Easterns. And I think people just keep overall the Easterns too warm. Like you can cool them in the winter and great, say, oh, I got my Sanzini into the 50s, but I think they need 60-degree temperatures year round, not just during the breeding season.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So they
Right.
need to
So
be
they're
cold.
sort of treating him like a diamond python, where normally, they would be at this temp, and then summer comes, they're at 40s, but during the spring and summer, they're not at 40s. They're
Yeah.
Right.
regular, but this is more of a lower ambient all around. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. When I
So you
brought
can-
him the first time, I brought him to Daytona way back when it was still in Orlando. And Philip DeVorgeau, like they were kind of like a big topic at the show that year because nobody private was breeding them at all.
Right.
And Philip DeVorgeau came over to look at him, and he was asking me kind of what I was doing, and I was telling him, and he's like, I found one once under a big piece of bark that had frost on it, and there was a Sanzini under that
shit.
piece of bark with
Gee.
frost on it.
Wow. That's crazy. Holy
Yeah, it
shit.
tells you a lot right there.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look like any other kind of cold weather python. You're like black. It's got to be black. Otherwise, they don't look like a diamond or a Bolin's or anything like that.
Yeah. But the
Are they
females,
baskers?
especially the Eastern females,
Uh-huh.
get almost black when they're gravid.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
And unlike other species I've worked with, like Amazon tree boas and stuff, when the female does get a little darker, usually even after she drops her babies and all, she never regains the brightness that she did before. But Sanzinia do regain that brightness after a few sheds after they've dropped their babies, which is kind of interesting.
So are they baskers, and just in general, are they basking like a certain amount of the daytime to hit?
I want to go there and find all that out. There's not a lot of field work done with Sanzini, which is driving like Paul and myself. Paul has like really studied them in the wild, and contacted people over there and collected photos. And I mean, there's such variation at different elevations of these animals in color and all. So there's a lot of work, I think, to be done on that. Most of the stuff that you do read, though, in the wild says that, during the day, they're very arboreal. And then after dark, they're on the ground.
Okay.
So it would make sense. Maybe they're getting up into the trees to get some sun and basking.
Get warm, and then
Okay.
because it's Madagascar is such a weird place. Like we just talked about the biomes of this small island. Like it's not, it's nuts, but it tends to be like in the trees. But then it's like to warm up and then go down. It's almost like how in Australia it's like come out of the rocks to warm up and to order to hunt come nightfall.
Right.
But to come down from the trees onto the ground, I guess it's just because I mean the predator situation's got to be weird too because it's Madagascar. It's So they're different, dealing with different strategies, but they're doing the same thing. Like in Australia, it's so damn hot that they have to go in the ground to get away from the heat. It's the
and then
reverse.
come out at night because it's cooled off. Where in Madagascar, they're probably going in the trees to bask during the day and then hitting the ground while they're warmed up and can function and hunt and stuff at night,
It's so weird to think about that as a reverse of like herping here, where it's like it's too cold, nothing's going to be out. It's too cold, nothing's going to be out. We have to wait for the heat. Where it's like over there, it's like it's too hot, nothing's going to be out. So, and it's I don't know why, but this clicked into my head. I was talking to somebody about frilled dragons last week, and I could just hear Keith screaming frilly in the back of my head. So that was.
That was amazing.
Never die. He will never die.
And then Gavin takes us to a school with a bunch of kids, and there's like frilled dragons all over the school.
That's unfair. That's unfair.
We had to sweat in the jungle.
No, we
What
had to
the
go
hell?
get
This is
that.
bullshit.
Crap.
Too funny.
Okay. So temperature is important with these guys, keeping them a little bit on the cooler side. What would you say? Like you're saying, you're keeping it in the 70s, basically. Is that where you're shooting for?
Yeah,
what's the
so
night drop.
It's weird because most of my pythons and boas, as you guys know, because you've seen my collection, are in a warm room, and I keep a lot of stuff on ambient unless it's gravid. Then I give it some additional heat.
Yes,
and it just works for me. With the Sanzina, I keep them ambient cool, and then I control a basking spot with a light for them. And in the winter, when I'm prepping them for breeding and the males and everything else, I shut that light off completely, and they're just at room temperature. And the only time I've ever seen a Sanzina bask for me is when they're gravid.
okay.
Males, they can eat. Females can eat. I don't see them basking. The only time I see them basking is when that female is gravid and she's out over there. So I'm only keeping them generally in the 68 to 72 range most of the time, ambient,
Okay.
and then their basking spot is about 82 to 85. And I control that. They're in the wild, apparently their light cycle is 13 hours in the summer, 11 hours in the winter. But I go to an extreme in captivity, like you were saying earlier, Eric, that we do things so different than nature.
Right.
In the winter, I just shut their basking off completely, and they're in the dark. And they're in the dark, from like September through December. And then I'll start giving them a little bit of light, a little bit of basking more than light. Come like now. Now I'm giving them like 5-6 hours of basking a day. And until I see that female going under the light and she's gotten really dark, I just keep that cycle until I see that.
Gotcha. What's the temp of the hot spot, the basking spot?
It's like 82 to maybe once in a while it'll get to 84, but in general it's like 82, 83.
Very similar to my carpets. Diamonds is a lot hotter of a hot spot. That's probably close to 90, 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not, I don't do it 11 hours. I kind of do it comes on for, I don't know, maybe 3-4 hours and turns off for a while and comes back on before. And I just, with them, what I'm doing is just manipulating that light cycle, which is heat and light.
Right.
But these just go dark. Wow, that's wild.
Does that room get any ambient light from outside, even though you're not giving them a basking spot?
He's got the window.
Yeah, I got the big window.
Yeah. Because they'll key in. I've found reptiles key on to natural light more than what we're doing with a lamp over their cage anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's probably true. I do pay a lot of attention to, like, before I leave for work in the morning, I open it up. When I come home, before I'm shutting down the room, I shut the window so it's completely dark. But yeah, I don't know. It makes me so nervous to have a python at
such a low temp.
48 is the low I hit.
Yeah. I mean, Sanzina at 70 degrees.
Yeah. So you could basically keep they would be like a good, like if you had a nice cage in your living room or something like that, that would be like the perfect snake to kind of keep there because of the temps is like what we like. Yeah.
I say, they're super hardy in general. They'll take just about whatever you want to give them. I'm not saying you're going to breed them that way, but you'll definitely keep them happy and healthy and all that kind of stuff. No problem.
Okay. So a behind the sofa cage at Keith's place is what you're telling me. We're going to come over and start building it. Yes,
absolutely.
Excellent. Don't even tell Teresa we're coming. Just let her find out when we arrive.
Yeah.
God, no, these guys again.
How to keep it exciting. Not you guys again, but it's cool to have that kind of a species because again, like with what Eric was talking about, it's like there's a disconnect between boas and pythons of you need heat. Was that something you kind of had to fight against even back then when you were breeding them? Is that without all the knowledge, was it just like, let's see what happens and like turn the dial down? Or
so the cool thing was is being such a compulsive collector.
Yeah.
I had so much snakes in my snake room that I ran out of room. So I said the only place I can put the Sanzina that I
God
get.
damn
it! Oh yeah, I deduced.
I figured it out. I love it because Keith is on the same level of like Dr. Ross, where it's just like, I don't know, the power went out and they all bred. There we go. It's like,
yeah. How are we ever going to breed these? I don't know.
I don't know. There they go.
What happened? The power is
weird.
Yeah, the first ones I bred, that's how they wound up in the basement. I used a refrigerator light bulb. I had the old Neodeshas with the angled front cage that they
okay.
Oh God.
That's what I kept them all in on a rack in the main basement where it's ambient, and I just used a little 15 or 20 watt refrigerator bulb for I was using it for lighting more than anything. And I noticed, hey, they're eating, they're doing good, they're not wheezing, they're not getting our eyes, they're fine. So I was like, yeah, I'll keep them out here, they're doing good. And that's how I wound up first breeding them.
Jesus.
Wow.
You had to be, I mean,
the only problem with that is like I would be freaking out. How can I do this again? Because I don't know what I did.
Recreate, yeah. You just keep going. At that point, you just keep going.
I don't know what I do every year. It just works.
Me neither.
Exactly. Jello at the wall. But I mean,
you just gotta watch the snakes.
How many people were producing them consistently back then? I know you said there
nobody. Tracy said I was the first private person. She said she thought the Jersey Zoo or some other zoo maybe have bred them, but so many private people were trying and failing and trying. I mean, I've talked to Craig, Eugene Bissett, all these guys that have tried. Tracy and Dave tried. Like they were all trying back then, and nobody was breeding them. But everybody thinks a boa is a boa. And I mean, I shouldn't say that. They're way smarter than I am when it comes to breeding shit. But a lot of people go by the formula that's worked for this boa, that boa, and this python and that python. But a lot of times you got to change it up and find what works. Like that's why I've been looking at these leaf-tailed geckos so much, because I'm fascinated that if you keep them in the 80s, they die. And they're in the same range as these guys are. They're obviously Sanzini or hardier and not as delicate as them. But when you start researching these other animals that are in the same area, it gives you little clues on what could be the right formula for these guys.
It's so weird that because again, you think of a gecko from off the coast of Africa must love it hot, and it's like after 80 they're done, and it's like you'd hate to have somebody grab them and be like, well, I've done leopard geckos, so I can it's dead. Like it's
leaf-tails like it cool, and they say that they do very well too with a cool down every night. Like they want to get into 65, 68 degrees at night. And then you can give them some species I saw, will take up to 88 degrees, like one species, but most species, like they get over 82 and they're done.
Yeah.
The ones in Australia, I'm trying to think. It was a little cooler in that park that we went through and saw all of them in there. Yeah. Right? Okay.
I mean, look at Africa. You watch, I'm a junkie on Naked and Afraid, even though I hate when they collect animals for food, but
right.
I watch Africa, and I mean, they were regularly going down into the 50s at night, and then up to 110 during the day, and they're roasting during the day and they're freezing at night,
Right.
So a lot of these areas that we think are tropical, and we should keep these animals at 80 degrees all the time. Like it's just doesn't work,
one of the things I love about the way you think, Keith, and I think you cut yourself a little short when it comes to, you are an interesting thinker in as far as like most people think about the species that they're going to breed, right? But you think about the environment and the ecosystem of the species you're going to breed. And I kind of am like the same, like I want to know it all. Like, how does this work? And how does this work? And how does this affect this and this? And
Right.
And I think that's why you have just such great success. I don't know. What do you think, Owen? Would you agree with that? I think
I would agree that Keith is a psychopath and like looks at the entire like he just that is I think a part of building the whole collection and also focusing in on the species, because I'll tell you that when I first started, it was like snake must get 84, set cage 84, 84 year round, constantly all the time. Snake do good. Like, no, that's, and you know, also they love food, keep feeding it. As you kind of dig deeper and realize that it actually, the longevity of the animal is, you know, less meals, drop down temps. Like I think I have a night drop now year round, where back in the day, I wouldn't start night drops for anybody until we hit October cool down. Like all my stuff turns off at night now, and then that room gets to whatever temp it's going to get to. And being in the springtime and summer, that's doesn't really much matter. And I think that's stuff you kind of learn by looking at the environment and by looking at the animals. So, you know, Keith has kind of figured out that taking a little snapshot of one animal during like a little bit of time is not enough to kind of track the whole thing through its whole cycle of life. And it really helps to not just look at this animal, but this animal and this animal and this fish and that weather and this animal and that stuff. And it kind of all comes together. It's almost like some sort of ecosystem that everything kind of goes along with and kind of incongruent. Like it worked. I'll figure out a good name for it. So yeah.
Get to work, would you?
Oh, well, I'm trying. It's hard. Just came up with
Yeah,
it.
I'm just like, I think about the, you know, like we'll be talking about snakes, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're taking a left into like birds you kept, and how, and somehow you relate it to the snakes, and it's like, oh, I never thought about that way. You know what I mean? I think to me, I love that kind of stuff. That's like
I've been super lucky to have parents and grow up in the 60s and 70s where you could get monkeys at a pet store and birds, you know, you just sent the mail list out and you got any kind of bird, and they were very, you know, willing to let me do whatever I had to do as long as I took care of it. And I think keeping all these different animals just makes you realize that there's just so many more questions than there are answers.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah. You solve one, get 12 more.
You get 12 more.
It's like, great, cool, got it. Damn. Like it's, but that I think is the fun. Cause I think if Keith didn't like the puzzles, he would have been like, and corn snakes, everything is corn snakes. And he would have just done that.
I feel like with everything with me in life, I should have been a detective, because like, to me, that's like where my, like trying to figure out, like, how does this work? How does this do it? How do we do this? How do we do that? You know, like I'm constantly trying to, I do it with music. I do it with work. I do it with the podcast. Like I didn't know anything about anything when I started this podcast. I didn't know shit about podcasting or tech or anything like that. It was all just like a learning curve, and just kind of like, I love that time. That's why I'm like excited about learning about boas. I don't even care if I keep boas. I would love to keep one, to have one. I've had them in the past when I was younger, but like, I'm just fascinated with learning about them, because it gets me thinking about what I do keep and applying what I'm learning from the boas. Like, oh, can I apply this to this? You know, like, oh, okay. So it's like constantly in that state of learning, I think is good for anybody in the hobby and wants to keep snakes or reptiles or anything.
Yeah. For me, I need to keep a wide variety of animals that require totally different ambient conditions and all that kind of stuff, because I think each one of them teaches me something different for the other animal, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
That's just my thing, you know? I was talking to Craig, because he's got a trip coming up to Costa Rica with a couple other people that are also herpers and stuff. And he's like, I don't even care if I see anything. He goes, I just want to go experience the habitat. And I go, that's how I feel when I go to Australia.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't care. I really didn't even care if we saw an Owen Pelly that first trip. Right. Me and Owen went on. All I cared about was being in that environment, listening to those birds, feeling that breeze, getting close to the mountain and feeling that humidity, you know, with the jungle type thing that was right there against the mountain, yet it was more arid as we got away from the escarpments and stuff. Like just feeling all that stuff. I'm like, holy shit, that's how these things live. That was like amazing to me, you know?
There was that one cavern in that one escarpment. We all know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where you went around and in, and it was like physically colder. Like it was like hot as hell. get inside cold. And it's like, this is how that happens. They're not built for this. They hide. And they hide in this lovely temperature that we're all in right now. And it's like, that's the whole thing. And just picturing that. And I think Keith and I kind of have the same sickness where it's like, I need the challenge. I need to pick apart this new species, new creature, new thing, and kind of toy with it and figure it out. You know, I'm horribly afraid that at one point I will end up just being like, and Bolins. So now we're gonna have to try Bolins, and that's where we're at. And I don't want to get there, but it's like,
you will.
No, damn it. Like it's fun to figure that stuff out, and it's fun to have success with breeding and be like, I got that animal, I pushed that little pebble up the hill a little bit further.
Yeah,
which is cool, especially in the community too.
Yeah. Well, there's some species that you do well with, like Sanzini, I do well with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to learn more. So even though I'm breeding them, and some people would be satisfied with that, I bug Paul. Let's figure out a way to get over to Madagascar where they are, and let's go romp around in that area, because we're both so hooked on, you know, the boas from Madagascar. And Paul's bred the ground boas, he's bred Dumerals, he's bred Sanzini and stuff, but he's fascinated with that land. Like, I want to go with him there and just walk that area and say, hey, this theory is really bullshit, or this theory that really worked out, and that's why it's working. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That would be like Madagascar is such a weird place with such weird fauna and stuff like that. I mean,
what are you talking about? Australia is like the land of the weird.
It's its own separate thing. But you got to understand is that Madagascar, I liken it to, like, you got Australia, you got New Zealand, and then you got Madagascar, and it's like weird. And then its mainland stuff is you kind of see this same thing over here, but this one's got spots, like that kind of stuff. Like the fauna on those three places is just so distinct and weird.
Oh yeah.
Where you get far enough away where it's like, how the hell did we get here? Like with some animals.
You know, I've never thought about this till you just said this, and now I have something to look into. Like, boas are typically in the Americas. How the hell did boas get into Madagascar? Which is
we have boas in you know, the Candoya species too. Look at those.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess I just think of pythons as, you know, old world and boas as new world.
At one point,
I know I've read that somewhere.
At one point, all those continents were together.
Yeah,
so for all we know, there could have been then the Pleistocene.
I know, but it's just weird. How did they end up there? I want to know. I don't want to, you know, I want to know. How did they
as similar as boas and pythons are in certain ways, then other ways they're so different. Like, I feel like pythons are very good at storing sperm. And that's why, you know, a lot of people breed a lot of different pythons, where the boas, I don't think, can store sperm as well as pythons do. So people that breed a lot of boas tend to keep boas together for like a long time. Like you get 2 or 3 locks on a python, you're like, I got this year, you know. but with boas, like, typically if I don't keep a male with the female for 3 or 4 months, I feel like I'm not going to be successful.
Is there a certain amount of locks that you have to see that makes you feel confident?
The problem is you don't want to get locks early. Like, if you condition your male too early and he's producing viable sperm when the female's not ready, he's shooting his load for the year and nothing's going to come of it. Like, you have to do the timing just right, where you're putting him together and leaving him together while he's producing viable sperm, but she's also ready, you know,
receptive. Otherwise,
can't retain the sperm like a python.
I don't know if it applies the same way to all pythons in general, but I remember reading a paper on short tails that just introducing the male to the female would stimulate her to ovulate. Yeah,
exactly.
Grow follicles, at least. You know,
so will she ovulate if being bred by the male, and it's just after a certain point? And also, how long is the pregnancy? Because I put together my rainbow boas, and I think what happened after that was several months of she's not pregnant. And then she must be pregnant. She can't be pregnant. She's eating. She can't be pregnant. She cannot be pregnant. I screwed up. There's nothing. She's huge. She has to be pregnant. And then I'm like, she's not. And then babies. And I'm like, I have no idea what the hell is happening. So how long is the pregnancy for these guys?
It's different for all boas, you know.
Damn it.
It's like really different. Like Sanzina, you know, I believe that they're holding on to babies for like 6 months, you know.
Go to hell.
Wow.
Really?
6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Are
know
they
I say
eating
that.
through that time?
Yeah.
Because right now my females are getting dark. The male's breeding them hard. She's swelling up. It's definitely going in the right direction, right? We're in February. I always get babies in August and September.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm saying like, that's crazy, but I think the rainbow boa pregnancy was like 4 months, which is kind of close to what you'd expect out of a python. 2 in mom and 2 in the incubator.
Like emeralds are pretty clockwork. Like once they have their post ovulation shed, it's 145, 150 days, and they're dropping babies.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything that you have to do during while she's pregnant? That time frame, is it you're keeping just that basking light? Is it all the time? Like
I give them like 14 hours of basking a day.
Okay.
And I'll feed. I don't know. The females will eat a small meal. I don't like to, you know, push them because they get quite large with the litter. I'll give them small meals just to, you know, they'll take it. I'll give it to them, but I don't do it like maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And it's a small meal that I typically do.
Gotcha.
What's the largest size you would go with as far as food goes for an adult Sanzina? I mean, do they get onto small rat, or like if you fed it a medium rat, is it broken?
Yeah, they'll take even you know, like a big female will take like a medium sized rat, a small medium. But I like to feed large weanlings, and I'll give them 2 if I have to instead of 1 big massive meal.
Okay.
They seem to do really good with that.
Okay.
You know, I was talking way back in the day when Brian Barczyk literally had like 2 tables at a local show and maybe like 15 snakes on his table. He was just starting out. He was, you know, young then when I used to know him back then. And he was just starting to go to Europe to collect different try to get a hold of different colubrids to bring back to breed and stuff. And he said that he went to one breeder's house and he told me that he saw the Mandarin Sanzina over there, and he swears I've never seen one this big, but he swears they were like 10 feet and like the size of your forearm. I've never seen one that big, but he was like, I can't believe how big the Mandarins get compared to the Easterns, you know. And he said he saw one over there that big. I mean, that would take, you know, pretty large prey for sure. But most of my biggest animal right now, I would say, is 4.5, maybe 5 foot, and it's a female.
Okay.
I mean, again, with the whole like, if he had seen something that big, I mean, I imagine it could get that big, but would it be even a viable breeding animal?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. Look at that water python like we found over in
was he a viable breeding animal? No.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I mean, that was like an olive python.
Yeah. You know, today we talk all the time about slugs in the wild, and it doesn't happen. You never see slug in the wild.
It does.
You know, I've heard that, right? But today, you know, Marty posted up those pictures of the diamond python clutch in the MPR chat. And it basically in there was what? 3 slugs, I think. And one crawled out of the egg and died. So it's like those things happen in nature. I think we just like have this idea that like you'd be lucky if one of them make it to adulthood. You know, I mean, that's the thing we always learn on nature shows. It's like they have so many babies because only 1 or 2 is going to make it to adulthood to be able to carry on.
And that's the thing is, they're like, oh, egg binding doesn't happen in the wild. Yes, it does. It's just there's a lizard that usually comes around and eats the female that's not doing so hot at that time. That's how that happens. Of course, we didn't see it. The goanna got it. So, but it's so weird to think about that with like, and it'd be cool to, I mean, I imagine there are people who go over and find Sanzina in the wild. And it'd be cool to kind of see the
there's a tour guide over there, Sergio, that I would probably go with.
He's
I
already got all
follow
this
him on
planned, man.
Facebook. But Paul has a collection of pictures of I don't know how he finds them. He finds these random Instagram pictures or whatever, because he must click on a lot of Madagascar stuff. But he was sending me pictures today of these different Easterns that are like dark gray with like a dripping with white all over the top of them dorsally and all over the top of their head. So unlike anything that we've seen in captivity in the United States, and then these other ones that are more blue and these other ones that are, they're all different colors over there. And being that they are from sea level up, you wonder how that color and pattern locality, there's a lot of mountains in Madagascar and all that, and how all that plays into what's over there,
Yeah.
Wow.
I got to get my heart right before I go over there because it's a lot of uphill, Eric.
That might be good. Yeah.
Is it? Thank God I've been going to the gym. I'm ready. Bring it.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
So,
I can relate to the to getting the wild pictures because like that's me with carpets.
Yeah.
So on my Facebook feed, it's all these snake catchers that are just like all over Australia. I'll be like, oh, okay, that's So
do we know what is the classification of Sanzina? Because they're not like I to say that Madagascar exports animals. Like I mean,
yeah, not Sanzina though. They've
Yeah.
been closed for a while. That's why when I got the original ones from Tracy with the paperwork back then, it was like a big deal.
mhm.
I guess are they
now it seems like nobody cares, but I think by rights you really should have it for even Dumeral's boas,
are they? I mean, I guess are they
Dumeral's
Appendix 1?
and none of those are exported from Madagascar anymore.
Yeah.
Do they have conservation issues in Madagascar with those?
Well, the Sanzina, funny, they have a big range on Madagascar, and they're actually pretty like common to find. Like they're
Oh, really?
kind of like the carpets were in Queensland when we were there, in Brisbane area. We were finding carpets pretty regularly.
Right.
From what I've been seeing, that they're pretty common to find. They're not really hard to find.
Okay. Well, that makes the trip that much more enticing.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah, but that's
Absolutely.
Maybe it won't be so hard to find.
that was the rumor I heard, is that Madagascar is one of those weird places where they'll export a shit ton and then be like, oh, we went too far, and then shut it down.
Yeah.
With a lot of different things. And it's just weird because I know geckos, I know hognose, a couple other things still come out of Madagascar.
Do chameleons?
Yeah.
They have a lot of chameleon species,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
a lot of species, yeah.
But it's like, but certain stuff like Sanzini is not touched. I know that
None of the boas from Madagascar can be exported.
Yeah, that's why it's
Papua too. Like Ari says, really, Bo and I aren't super rare in the wild, but yet Papua looks at them at like birds of paradise. That they got to be captive bred there and then exported.
Right. Okay. So is there's like so when you're setting up let me ask it this way. For a python guy, what are some of the things that you have to think about with, when a boa becomes gravid? Is it a nest box situation? Is it just is it depend on this? Well, let's say with Sanzinia.
Well, I found for me, and somebody might tell me I'm crazy, but I found that if I give female I was having problems with stillborns.
Mm-hmm.
And if I gave the females a ton of branches, and then I watched this females this year when they were dropping their babies on my cameras because they were acting up, and I could just tell they were probably going to drop that night. So I just like stayed up and watched my babies all night. And the females this year, I had 17 babies out of 2 females.
Jesus.
All alive, no stillborns at all. And I think it's because I provided so many branches. I think crawling through those branches just helps them get the babies out quicker, where they don't drowned inside.
Ah,
Okay.
see what I mean?
One thing for gravid boas I've noticed is like pythons, I like to give a gravid female dorsal basking. With
Mhm.
boas, I do much better with good births if I give them belly heat. So I've made these like raised platforms. I bought this tempered glass and I just put a heat pad on the bottom of it with a thermostat that I can regulate the temperature on that pad. They can go underneath that raised platform and get a little bit of dorsal heat, or lay on top and get belly heat. And every female chooses to lay on top and get that belly heat versus underneath and getting that dorsal heat. And since I've been providing that for a lot of the boa constrictors, especially, they've given me like way better success ratio without stillborns and whatnot. The tree boas do very well with overhead heating.
That makes
I've
sense.
noticed
Let me
that.
tell you, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, all the Corrales do really good with overhead heating. The Sanzina do really good with overhead heating.
Wow. Okay. All right. So with I guess that does make sense that it would be. Do they ever invert like
Like a
pythons
python?
do?
Yeah.
I don't
No.
see boas. Yeah.
No.
So, like, when she's pregnant, like, does she just balloon out? Like, we're talking like stretch scales and everything.
They get like when a python ovulates, you know how they get so hard.
Yeah.
I noticed with the Sanzinia, you know, the body will definitely look swollen and sausage like, but there's a firmness and a hardness to it. But the deciding factor for me is with Easterns anyway, is if that female gets dark. If she gets dark, you know something's coming out of her, whether it's stillborn slugs or
not.
Something.
Babies, something's coming out of her when they get dark.
Gotcha.
Would so with feed, do you kind of cycle up and cycle down when it comes to this kind of stuff to like
with boas, I want the females really heavy going into the breeding season. So come like, you know, July, August, I'm starting to pound those females really good and trying to get them looking pretty beefy before I start to cool down. Once I get into the cool down, I back off a little bit on it. Once I see some good breeding and the females starting to build ova, then I'll hit them hard with some food again, because I like to feed the follicles on boas for sure.
Okay. Feed the follicles. I like that one. That should be a T-shirt.
Write that down. Write that down. Write that down.
Most of the USA would be like, "What the hell?
What does that mean?"
Yeah. That's what makes it fun.
We're not here for them. But that's.
Follicle. Okay.
I
was going to ask. I don't even know how to ask this question or if it even makes sense. But which do you think is more taxing on the mother? Is it the egg laying part of it, or is it the boa? Like in my mind, I guess because the mom is carrying the babies throughout the entire
whole thing,
gestation, that it would be boas. But then I think, well, you know, the mom with the eggs, she's got, well, at least carpet pythons, you know, they got to make sure that the eggs are staying at the temperature, and that can be taxing on them. But I don't know. What do you think, Keith? What?
I think, you know, the funny thing is most boas will feed during gestation where pythons don't in general. You know, I mean, some pythons will, like blood python. I've had blood pythons feed the day they drop their eggs. So.
Yep.
They're just right. Whatever. But I shouldn't say all, but a lot of my female boas do eat during gestation. So I always give a python or a boa a year off, where a lot of colubrids I'll breed like 2-3 years in a row and then
in a row.
Yeah.
But boas, I breed a year and I give them a year off. Breed a year, give them a year off.
Gotcha. Do the litters grow? Do they get bigger, or are they pretty consistent size?
I would say the first year is sketchy with Sanzinia, where, you know, you're going to get some stillborns and slugs and a smaller litter. And the second, third, and fourth year seem to be really good.
Really good. Okay. All right. And then is there anything you're preparing cage wise, like to know when she's going to drop? You talked about having a camera and you're watching them drop. Is it like
Yeah,
you
I
have to
just
remove the animals right away?
Yeah, I put a lot more branches in there. And I do let the babies crawl around with the mom. The mom will go around and I think I was telling you, Eric, they'll eat if there's any unfertilized ova, they'll go and eat that. And I've even seen females eat stillborns. But I do leave the babies in there for at least a day, settling in on all they'll perch up almost like a chondro in the cage. And the mom kind of goes back to her hide spot and ignores them, to be honest with you. She doesn't really, she'll cruise around as they're being born and check for any slugs or any unfertilized ova or whatever. But then after that, she kind of pays them no mind, goes back into her thing. And usually with Sanzina too, I know the babies are coming because the females go into a shed. And usually when their eyes are really cloudy and just start clearing up, like that's when they drop their babies. And then they'll shed like a day or two after dropping the babies.
Okay.
How long? Because I thought boa babies come out and immediately go into a shed. Is that true with Sanzina?
Sanzina shed as they're being born.
Oh, cool.
I found that with Doomerals also. They shed when they're being born.
That's so weird. All right. How do you
Jamaican boas too, as I'm thinking about it.
God, there's so many weird boas. How do you set up the babies? Just like we're talking straight bin, or
I think you guys saw when you were here. I have those tall shoe boxes that the Container Store sells.
Oh, I love them.
Yes, I do love those. Yes.
Any even carpets or any of the arboreal stuff.
Anything that climbs, man.
Tall cage where they can strike down. I give them a natural branches. I love rhododendron branches. They get like lichens on them and all that. And Teresa, I tell her it's the deer, but I'm out back cutting all the branches off of the rhododendrons, and I use those in the cage, and they just look nice, And Sanzinias are really easy to get started. I mean, you'll have one or two weird animals that'll be a problem, but in general, they all feed first attempt, and usually I'm feeding them a week and a half after birth.
Okay. And how big is the first meal? We're talking fuzzy, hopper, mouse.
I like getting them started on rat fuzzies.
They're that big for rat fuzzies.
Yeah, they're like carpets. Like they can take a good sized meal, and it doesn't. The babies that I give them a good sized meal like that.
God.
If you saw how big the babies were that I had this year that I'm raising up as holdbacks, they're pretty good size already. They could take a small mouse right now, no problem.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, there's just so many things I don't want to look at when I go to Keith's house. It's like Sanzina now.
Maybe this is why I haven't
various boa constrictors, bulls, and then probably.
You don't even know the stuff I got between Craig and Casey and everything this year.
I don't know. No.
All kinds of stuff.
No.
What kind of rat snakes?
I have yellow rat snakes, Everglades rat snakes.
Oh shit!
Some corn snakes. I collected a pair of gray rat snakes with Craig, so that's really special.
Okay.
I got some cool stuff. I picked up I got different bull snakes from trading around this year and stuff.
I have said on the show many times that Pituophis, as far as a colubrid, is probably my favorite in the U.S.
They're just so cool when they're big.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Craig's book.
I think it was really, I know. When we were out in, where were we? I think it was
Texas.
when we were in San Francisco.
Oh.
No, that was that one too.
Not
in
different
Texas
one.
that we found. Yeah, but in San Francisco, I actually found that just walking through the desert, and I don't know, there was just something about me finding it that I was like, oh, I really like this snake, and it's just like the pattern is really cool. It was so I guess it was a gopher snake, right? San Francisco gopher snake. Yeah. But that's why I need the book, so I can learn about them, because I just know the pine snakes from the pine barrens in Florida. But
yes,
I've seen the other ones, but
I got black pines. And when I was younger, friend of mine had some gigantic black pines, and I just thought they were so cool. If you get some really dark black pine snake, and they got that head, you know, with those evil looking eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
And
They look mad,
Rob,
like, you know.
yeah. Rob Nemo had gifted me a pair of black pines because, you know, now they're ESA, you can't travel. So he had gifted me a pair of black pines, and I was like, I don't even want to breed these until they're like huge. Like, I just want to feed them and grow them up for a bunch of years and get them really big. So this is the first year that I've actually hibernated them. But they're just so cool. Like they don't bite, but every time you pick them up, they're just like this big hissing snake. They got that face like, you know, Mike Tyson looking like he wants to rip your face off, you know. I just love them. There's definitely something Owen would love.
Damn it. Right up in the, damn it.
That is in your wheelhouse, brother.
I mean, it is.
That is your wheelhouse. Big angry snake.
I have there are plans for the reconstruction and expansion. I hold them in my hand, and there are several things that we might have room for, but
well, I only got like a year or two, and then I'm gonna have to downsize and probably keep smaller stuff. So you guys are going to be getting a lot of shit.
There you go. I'll be ready. I'll be ready for you. Yeah.
No, I got plenty of room.
I will be prepared. Don't you let any of that shit hit Morph Market.
I think my blackhead is Gravid, Eric. I definitely want to get you a pair of those if you want them.
Oh, hell yeah. Gravid? Yeah. Wow,
Keith's blackheads are so goddamn pretty. And the babies are absolutely gorgeous.
I think the thing with the blackheads, right? It's getting the eggs that you've had issues with. Is that what
I can get eggs, no problem. It's hatching them, but AC actually printed out like a 3-page formula that he uses. It's so concise and so like plug and play. If I don't hatch them with this in my hand, I'm gonna just like
that's enough. We're done. Get new ones.
How can I breed this? And I can't breed this.
Well, that's the thing is like because even then because you had the stillborns, those I think last year,
the year before I had them go all full term, and
they were so goddamn pretty.
Went past the days, and I finally opened them. They're all fully formed, perfect, ready to go, beautiful,
gorgeous. Yeah.
I want to finish up Sanzina and then switch to the thing you were talking about settling in, nervous reptiles and stuff like that. But before we do that, I wanted to share. It would be silly that we don't share the crazy one you hatched out.
Is it the green one?
I'm saying hatched out.
Yeah, he hatched out that boa. He did. That's how good he is. It laid eggs.
Yeah, you can tell. I'm such a Python guy at heart.
Yeah,
it's this one, right?
Yes. Yeah. God, so I love that thing.
I actually had 2 of those. There was only 2 animals in the litter, and they both looked like that.
What the hell?
The problem is I used Elijah's female, and I used both of Paul's males, so I don't know which combination it was that produced those. And Matt has sent me, because Matt has this animal, Elijah got the other animal. Unfortunately, Elijah did lose the other animal, but Matt's has grown up and it's gone through its color change, and the pattern on it is like so faint you can't even see it on the animal hardly. So they're like a hypo. I don't know what the deal is, but the 2 in that litter were both like that.
Jesus. And you had to pack them up and watch them leave too. I mean,
yeah, but man, these guys are so cool. They gave me the animals to work with in the first place.
I know.
I'm just like happy as a pig and shit.
If it were anybody else, Keith, they'd be like, I can't let this one go. And you're like, bye.
That's it now?
That's it now. See how light the pattern is on it? You can't even see.
God,
they do have such cool faces, man.
I know.
Such cool. Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is that Keith has the. I was going to say Keith has the recipe. He kind of has the recipe where it's just both those boys got to go in the cage and hope the right male gets the female again.
Yeah, but she'll be ready again next year. So I'll try again next year and see what we can do.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's cool, man. Has anybody ever hatched out anything like that before? Like, what does Paul say when
I don't know. I
show him
posted
that?
it a bunch of times, and everybody's like, saying that they haven't seen anything like that. So
There are
Okay.
Sanzina seem to kind of have that thing where every once in a while there's one that pops out in a litter that is so odd from all the other ones, but then I don't think they're necessarily produced that often that it's almost like you can't really play with what you got going on.
I know what you're talking about, like
yeah.
those Sanzini that just like have so much white on them.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did that with Doomer's boas. I think I sent you guys back in the day pictures of a litter of Doomer's boas that were just like those Sanzinia. It was weird. They had so much white on them. There was more white than anything else on them. They were just crazy looking.
That's insane.
I guess that happens.
Tracy always says there's something in the Jersey water up here because I did those.
I mean,
calico Burmese and all these different blood pythons, and like it would just pop up randomly, and everybody's like, "What the hell is he doing?"
Mike Curtin says it is essential for making bagels. So
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be something at this point,
right?
So once you say that you don't like morphs, the universe just starts showing.
morphs.
I don't want to do morphs. Yes.
I prefer natural type. No, you don't. Here you go. Yeah.
That's me.
You're like, damn it. All right. Did we miss any? I mean, they seem pretty, like you said, they're pretty hardy.
They're very hardy. They're very, husbandry, foul proof, really. If you like Sanzini and you want to get them just because they're really cool to look at, great. You can also breed them. You just got to pay a little more attention to your details. If you want to breed them, I would get the mandarins first, and wet your lips with those because they're definitely a little easier to breed, and then move on to the Easterns. Right now are kind of ridiculously in price. I mean,
yeah,
they're like $12,000 a pair for babies. So, yeah, you get and the other ones you can get, probably for like $3-4 grand a pair. So, I would start with the mandarins first, and just get into it. They're I love them like as much as you guys love carpets. That's my jam right there.
Yeah.
And what I guess I should clarify this a little bit. Like when you say they're easier, is it just that they take breeding easier? Yeah,
just strictly in breeding. Husbandry wise,
right?
They're pretty identical.
Okay.
I do think the mandarins do get a little bit larger for sure. And the Easterns may be a little bit more arboreal. If you give them, a nice tall cage with a lot of branches, you'll probably see the Easterns more, using that than the mandarins. But they both go in the trees too. I like them because they're all over the place. They really do like to go on the ground or up
boxes
in the tree.
Yeah,
all terrain boa. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that, Owen. That's good.
Thank you. Put that on a shirt.
So one of the topics you wanted to talk about, Keith, was you were saying about like you went through this with some of the species that you're keeping now. It's like, how do you get an anxious species, or I don't know, is that the word you used, or like a nervous species to settle down into captivity?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So just when you think you know everything, an animal will tell you don't know shit. So I love Shinosaurus. I just think the Chinese crocodile lizards are the coolest thing. And honestly, I go to my Borneo earless monitors and the Chinese crocodile lizards before I go to anything else because they're just so cool to watch and everything else. So the Shinosaurus, you do your research on them and all this kind of stuff. Everybody has them either plain, or they had them in elaborate setups, and I'm all into the elaborate setups. So it's just me and Teresa in the house now.
Yep.
The only spot I had for Shinosaurus was upstairs. I think I took you guys up and showed you the caging I had for him.
Yep, that was back
I had it all elaborate and everything else.
So the problem I found was that Shinosaurus are the type of animal that if they can
dive for cover when they first see you. They're going to dive for cover and they're going to stay motionless, or they're going to freeze in spot.
Okay.
With all that cover that I had in those cages, like with tropical fish, you give tropical fish a lot of hiding spots and they tend to stay out in the open more because they know if they need to get away, they can.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
it made sense to me that with the Shinosaurus being in that elaborate setup and having the ability to just dive for cover if they felt threatened would give them that same sense of security. But what I found out over time, and I talked to other Shinosaurus keepers, that when you get new animals, they can take a while to acclimate to your conditions.
Okay.
Well, so my conditions are, me and Teresa are the only ones in a 5-bedroom house right now. We don't have a dog. We do have a parrot that likes to.
The funny chicken.
Yeah. But the only time I'm going in that room is to feed or to take a peek at them and see what they are. And what I found was every time I went in the room, they dived for cover. And the Shinosaurus, when it dives for cover, it's going to stay in cover for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Okay.
So the problem I was having was trying to get him to eat. Because when I entered the room, and now you have a water environment that you're trying to contain a prey species in a very small area, and the Shinosaurus is not seeing that animal, so when you can put food in right away, leave the room, but the Shinosaurus is going to stay hidden. He's not going to come out. By the time he comes out, that food is either drowned or it's found a spot to hide where, the Shinosaurus doesn't find it. If you use dubia roaches, if you use pinky mice or something like that, they're either going to drown, they're going to find a hiding spot. And then when the Shinosaurus finally comes out, there's no food there. And this went on for a year where I kept saying they're going to come around, they're going to come around. One animal came around where it would actually take some food off of forceps, and then all of a sudden it got skittish again. So I said to myself, like, what am I going to do here? And since I'm not going in the room enough, like a lot of people that keep them in that type of environment, it's probably in a high traffic area. There could be dogs in the area. There could be this. And the animal gets used to that. But in my situation, it's not getting used to that. So it's using the cover. It's diving for cover. And then it's not coming out. So what I did was I stripped these cages down to bear nothing except for one little spot that they could go to feel a little comfort. So now I go in the room, they freeze. They don't dive for cover. They freeze where they are. I can open the cage. I can put food in, and I can leave, and I can watch on the camera. And sure enough, the little bastards started eating.
No shit.
So, but they were losing weight to the point that I was getting nervous.
Worried, yeah.
And now I have all 7 animals are eating by this method. Now I want to get back to the extreme caging of being naturalistic because I just love the look and watching them in there. So I'm trying to figure out how to take that next step. But here, a lot of people think that you have a formula, you're just not doing good with the animal, but it's really not that formula for that animal in those conditions. If you were at Replandia where 100 people are walking through and seeing them all day long, the animals would get used to that within 3-4 weeks. And be out feeding, not running for cover because they see people all the time. But in my situation, they're not seeing a person except maybe twice a week. And it's for a few minutes, so they're diving for cover. And it just took me a while to understand that that's what was going on. And I had to change the setup to a barren setup and force them to stay out in the open and see the food. So when I left the room, they were brave enough to go eat the food. It just kind of blew my mind,
It's weird that it goes that way,
This is that's them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the last tattoo I got was one of those guys there. They're just such an amazing animal. I just think they're so cool.
I think we should commission a cardboard cutout of Keith that he can keep in the shinny room, so it's like he's there constantly, and they can adapt to seeing Keith all the time.
It has to be animatronic, though,
exactly. Like just moves around.
It's moving.
We got to get him one of those Tesla robots.
Just gotta put it on a Roomba, and then the Keith Roomba, can just go around the room and the shinnies will eventually adapt to Keith wandering around the room. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I mean, you can find that with nervous species of snakes too.
yeah,
where
Right.
oh yeah,
they either need that barren cage or that really well planted cage, and it all depends on the factors outside that cage, which cage setup is actually going to work for that animal.
This is my last shot. This is my last year with water pythons, because I've had this one water python, and she's had the barren cage. Nothing. I gave her a cage she couldn't see in. Nothing. I covered the glass. Nothing. Like, as in, like, she freaks out and strikes constantly. And I have cycled now 3 males through her cage, and she's beaten the shit out of or ignored all of them. And I finally put her in a 5-footer, very deep on the bottom, mulch, branches, hides. She's not hitting the glass or striking at me anymore, but I think I saw her lock up with a male once this breeding season already. Yeah. And if nothing happens with it, I am restarting the project, because I can't keep fucking around with this. But I think it's just that she is such a high-strung, nervous animal. She can just not get used to but she's just automatically defensive. And that has been since day one I got her. So I think some animals are just wired to be more stressed out over things. So honestly, I feel like she needs a cage where nobody looks at her, no one bothers her, and she's just ready to roll. So
my Chinese rat snakes are like that, because now I'm in my snake room all the time.
Yeah.
And if they're out looking for food and I come in, they'll get, all puffy and you can see that they're stressed out. But now they have hide spots to go in. They go in the high spot, but I can go ahead and throw food in and they'll nail it, because they see me all the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they don't want me to mess with them, but they're cool with my presence in the room while they're feeding. Unlike the Shinosaurus that barely saw me, it was totally different,
Yeah, I mean, I think Chinese kings, because that's what we're talking. You got Chinese king rats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're just like any other kind of huffy puffy, cave dwellers, Vietnamese blue beauties. Everything when they're small is like, I'll kill you. And then, like, after they get big, they're like, whatever, water bowls over there, put the food there, get the hell out. Right, so yeah. They're a fun species, Eric. You wouldn't like them though. They're too much colubrid for you.
No, and, too colubrid for me.
Yeah, too much colubrid. Yeah.
Yep. I can admire them from a distance.
I forgot you have those, Keith, and you have morphs that I don't have.
They to me they look like a in the cobra family. I think that's why I find them cool. The head on them kind of looks like a cobra, and they're just a cool snake, They're one of those, like, you could test me all you want, but
there's the I think it's the Japanese king rat that like looks like a cobra. It looks like a king cobra, but didn't get a cobra. Yeah, that's a king cobra that didn't get the hood or the venom. Yeah. But I do like Chinese kings. I have a trio I'm trying to raise up, so get back in my Chinese king rat breed days.
Yeah, that kind of reminds, you're saying about this kind of is not exactly the same, but I remember when I had short tails, I was kind of keeping them on paper and whatnot, and you had suggested, like, I was having a hard time, especially with the Sumatran, to get them to eat. Like, they would strike it, but they wouldn't eat it. Mm-hmm. And you had suggested putting moss in there, and then as I started working with Matt and helping him sex the snakes, I would see that he does that all the time. And then it made sense. I'm like, duh, they're like they bury down in the moss and, wait for something to come by and grab it,
I found with babies too, like the short tails and bloods could be a little tough to get going sometimes, so I found with the animals that were tough to get going, if I packed their shoebox with sphagnum moss, they would bury in that and have just their tip of their nose sticking out. And when I put a hopper mouse in there, I would use live on those guys. They would pull their head back in and get nervous, right? But just the hopper walking on that was kind of like a spider web. And the snake could feel them walking around on it, so it would get interested and start edging back out. Mm-hmm. And then, sure enough, when the hopper got close to where its head was, they'd take it every time,
Yeah.
But if you kept that same snake in a barren cage, it would freak out as soon as you put a hopper mouse in, dead, live, whatever. You
Right.
know, they would throw itself all over the cage, getting in panic mode.
Yeah. I use that. Well, it's like carpets, right? I kind of used that for carpets, thinking, this will probably work well for a hide. But turns out that it didn't do well for carpets because
Right.
Mhm.
carpets want to be up, not
Yes.
not down. So it's like, okay, But
When I was breeding carpet pythons back in the day, I just had jungles, and I sold them to this guy, and he came back saying, you said this thing's eating, it's not eating, and I said, well, how do you have it set up? And he's telling me, and also he brought it back to me, and in my kitchen I set up a tub before he got there, and I had branches in it up high, and he put
Mhm.
the snake in there, and I went and got a live hopper, and the snake just went in there like for 5 minutes. I put a live hopper in there, and the snake saw it while it was up in the branches, struck and ate it right away.
Yep.
He's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, this is what you got to do with some stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Everything is different. Every species is different. Little tweaks
Yep.
versus
That was-
big tweaks, but
that was-
everything is different.
That was the biggest mistake that I learned from keeping all those species of pythons. Like I just had in my brain that it's a python is a python. It doesn't matter. They need the same thing regardless. They come from different places, but they're trying to get to the same thing within their environment, right?
Yeah.
Even though it could be the Oenpelli is 120 degrees outside of the escarpment, but inside the escarpment, way back tucked in, it's 80
70.
degrees.
Yeah.
So in my brain, it's like, well, they all have to be 80. But that didn't work out. So
It's fun.
I don't know. Maybe
It's funny to think that way because it's like I didn't get my olive pythons to breed until they were 7, and I started when they were trying to get them to go when they were 4, and it was just olive python. It's an Australian python. It's going to act like all the Australian pythons that I have, and it just wouldn't go. And then
it makes no sense that you're taking them down to 50.
Right.
to
And
get
like
them to
I told Eric the one year, I'm like, I'm going to be mean to my olive pythons this year.
breed. This makes
And I'm
no
like,
sense.
I'm like, out with the bread lie you go. And I got eggs. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with this. And then
Yeah.
Kohler and I talked about it because Kohler had success with his olive pythons. And then he and I bounced ideas off of each other the one time. And then he texted me. He goes, how low do you get? I'm like, dude, it can get to like 50 or something. He goes, for how long? I'm like, only about a week. He goes, all right. And he got eggs. Now, whether he did what he and I were talking about or his own thing that he's gotten success with before, I don't know. But I think sometimes you have to be
That one I just
snake.
don't get. I
don't either.
I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Dennis does pretty well with those, right? The olive
Yeah.
pythons, I think. he
Yeah,
does
the
well with.
max. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking with Gavin, it didn't sound like a lot of people in Australia bred them, which I thought was funny.
Olives?
Owen's
Yeah.
over here killing it, and the guy in Australia it's like, oh shit, I can't breathe these.
I got so many olives, I don't know what to do with them all.
I mean, yeah, I did. I mean, looking at the two of you, where I'm pretty sure I can see where 3 of my rough scale pythons went. So it's like, I mean, it's certain points where I'm like, you want it, take it. Like it's, of course, this year I'm running 2. I'm running 2 olive females this year. So check back with me this summer to see if I have made a grievous error. I don't.
yeah.
I guess my point, Eric, was that you don't have to look inside the cage all the time to figure out your animal. A lot of times you got to look outside the cage and see what's going on.
Yeah.
To how it affects the animal more so than what's actually in the cage.
And you have windows in the shinny source room too. So I mean, like they dig the light and stuff like that too. So
yeah,
I think that at least for me, I underestimated for a long time how much the outside affects the inside when you're breeding and keeping snakes.
right.
Whether what do you call it?
humidity.
Storms and rain and humidity.
The cycle of the moon.
Yep.
the
The cosmic octopus.
The cosmic octopus. What phase is it in? But
See how he makes fun of me, Keith?
no, shut up. He knows. He's seen it.
You don't make fun of Keith, though.
That's because Keith is Keith. You can't make fun of Keith.
Fair
Look at him. Like it's
He's just being nice to me because I had surgery.
there's that. There is that. Also,
He doesn't want
Teresa,
Teresa coming
it's
after
like
him.
Teresa scares me
Yeah.
so much. Like, it's not Keith, it's Teresa.
Yeah,
But
I believe it.
it's but then there's the whole thing of like right now I'm supposed to warm up to do pairs, to feed in pairs on the 14th, but we're in like this cold thing where it's like 2 degrees at night.
That's a good question. Are you pivoting with that, with it being so cold and staying so cold that you're keeping them colder for longer? It's a good question.
I don't want to, but I
You don't
think I'm
want to.
getting forced to. So
Okay.
Well, so I have all my colubrids in my garage, and it is a concern for me on how cold it's getting, and I got to kind of monitor that in the
yeah.
garage. And I needed a little help from Craig the other day because I have this space heater, and I put the space heater out there, and my garage is all insulated and all, but it'll get down into the 30s, and really like the colubrids, if you get them into the low 40s, you're good, or mid 40s. So
Yeah.
30s is starting to get a little sketchy, So if I put that heater on in the garage, I could maintain for 12 hours in the 40s, no problem. If I just had the heater on for even 15 minutes, it was enough to maintain 40s for 12 hours.
Mhm.
Well, one night I forgot and left it on.
Oh no.
So I went up
Yeah.
into like, 70s, 80s in the garage. And I'm like, oh, shit. I remember as I'm going to work, I called Teresa, and being Teresa, she went out. She turned the heat off, and thinking it was too hot out there, she carried all the animals inside the house, put them in the house for me and all. And she called me. She goes, I took care of. And she's so scared about me lifting anything right now, even though I feel like I could lift whatever.
Right.
She wanted to get it done before I got home. So I said, I'll be home in a little bit and I'll take care of it. Well, I called Craig, and he's like, yeah, they get warm days in nature. Just put them back out in the garage. They'll be fine. You haven't fed them or anything like that. So I put them back out in the garage like 2 weeks ago, and they're fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know that you don't, let's see how it goes for you. But for the most part, you think you're going to be successful. But like, just because it kind of like had a little misfire, it doesn't necessarily. Yeah. I've done that a couple times where I think 2 times this season, but it turned out it was recently. I fell asleep on the couch, and I left the heat on in the snake room. And when I came down, when I woke up, it's like, I don't know, 2:00 in the morning or something. I go down, it's like 82 degrees in there. I was like, oh shit.
Damn it.
It's supposed to be 6.
Yeah, we're so worried about, but think about nature, right?
Yeah. That's kind of the thing I try to keep in the back of my mind, that like,
yeah.
I
think I might let it go for another week and then
Another
start
week?
warming up. Yeah, because I do want to warm up, and I do want to start getting pairs going, because I've seen action from a couple carpet pairs, but then there's some that just nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like the warm up, the feed, and the repair is when it's like, that's when we'll really see if I can get some other ones going. But I think I saw a lock of the scrubs yesterday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
To answer that question, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. So,
Business as usual. Fair enough.
yeah, exactly. So, I'd like to get everything separated, fed, put back together, and then really assess where we're at with those kinds of things. And I haven't even touched king snakes, corn snakes, although I do have a funny story for Keith off air about the speckled kings that I got from him. So
all right, let's end the show.
Yeah, let's just end this now so we can hear this. But
okay, so you're gonna wait, hold out a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think one more week, and
I think I'm the same. I'm gonna hold out one more week,
and then I'll start warming up, start separating. I think I dropped the lowest I want to go for pythons last week or beginning of this week, and I want to keep them down this low, and then I'm going to bring them back up a little bit. So like they're at 65 drop. I'm going to bring them back up to like 68. But I'm going to let the olives go a little bit lower. I think I might be mean to the white lips too. So
it's funny, right? In the past, when I first started breeding, if I took the carpets to 70, I'd be freaking out. Like, oh my God, it's
Mm.
70 in here. What is going on? This
Flip
is
that
not
dial.
good.
And,
This is too cold.
and again, their computer systems are set to turn on if it hits 65 or below 65. I have to open all the doors downstairs, not like to outside land, but to other rooms, uninsulated parts of the basement. And I don't think the main room gets to 65. Like I don't think it does. It's cool when I go down in the morning, but it's not like freezing cold. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I get eggs this year. I don't really know what I'm doing. I only got one Python clutch last year. I'm terrible. So yeah.
Only one?
I had two. I got two. I did two carpet clutches. I got the albinos, and I got one jungle to hatch out of my jungle clutch. So yeah, two carpets. And I
literally two carpets.
Yeah.
What? Are you doing some breeding this year, Eric?
Yeah. I'm gonna do gelatins. I'm going to do the Russian tigers, which are the Yakapuri Depot locality, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Yep.
I just like the story. I think they're cool and they're freaking awesome looking.
They're gorgeous. Yeah.
What else? I got my poison ivy melanistic. Thing that I'm trying to prove out. I think I don't know. You tell me, Keith.
Animals.
Yeah,
those are nice.
They're so black. Like they are like mom now that they're like bigger, and
Wow.
I think my theory is that it's an IMG type of trait is what I think is happening, because what happens is they just hatch out normal, and as they age, they just add melanin, and it just
more and more black
up the sides and more, and then they hit this. I guess when they hit like adulthood, they're like black. You know,
wow.
Have like it's almost like a poor man's Bolins. It's like they have white, like the scalation of the lips is white, the chin is white, everything else is black.
Wow.
The belly is kind of white, but it has like black coming in on the sides, kind of like, I think of like the ball python thing where they look at the pied and it has like the little cracks that go down or whatever on the side. You can kind of see it, something like that. I don't know. I have no idea, but they're all turned out like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
A black melanistic carpet is bad.
That'd be fun.
And the fact that it's a popwin carpet, no one's gonna
really annoys the hell out of me.
No, I won't. No, I won't. With it.
No, I won't.
Makes me so
I
happy.
already. You better hope to God that none of those eggs from that popwin that I have are viable and hatch. Because then, guess who's getting several new pairs of popwins?
Yeah, right. And then I have two diamonds girls that could go.
I know that's one you really want to do.
Yeah,
he's got it. He's got it. I have full faith in him. Please,
big
God.
inland female down at the bottom there.
Hopefully
she'll go. That would be nice to tick that off. So,
just, like I said, I'll drop off the Papuans. I'll take a pair of diamonds and a pair of inlands and leave. I think that's a fair trade. You really want
wait. You
really want the Papuans, like you really.
You got to throw in like
they really.
I don't know. What do you got? Are you doing rainbow boas this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why, you want some rainbow?
You got to throw a rainbow bow in.
All right. Yeah, take a rainbow
some
bow.
other things.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just a pair of hogs.
Yeah, a pair of.
Oh yeah, or them. Yeah.
No, not my hogs.
We're
Argentines. You get it from the big man for that.
I don't want
shit.
his. I want yours.
No, mine are his. Where do you think I got them from?
Doesn't
you
matter.
Were there.
I want yours.
They can't have mine. Mine are mine.
Yeah.
Although I do have to. I'm on a mission this summer. I need to pair my K-Hawker boa. I have a girl. I need a male. And
nice.
possibly if it's like I can't get a male without getting another female. Oh no! Now I have a trio. Like I would do that. I love her so much. She's just she's such a cute little boa. Like it's like somebody like, again, it's a dwarf boa. Of course, it's a small red tail, but it's all I want, and she's awesome. So
I know some people breeding them. So if you're looking for a male, let me know.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for a male. I would do that immediately.
Okay.
So yep. If you have the hookup, which I know you
Man,
do.
I can
So.
see how this is gonna go. Me and Owen are gonna be going down a
It's not
locality
good. It's not
boa.
good. It's not good. I see it.
What happened to those
I see the
guys?
path laid before us. It's not good. So
I know 2 years ago I'm
gonna
making
have to
fun of
course
Owen.
correct
You're a
this
boa
shit.
guy now.
Well, the problem is that I'm gonna if I have another year like I had in 22, I'm not gonna be able to do one table at shows anymore. So it's
Right.
like and with the shit that I
Well,
potentially
that's good though, right? That's what you want to do.
yeah, like I mean, all right. So the white lips, both types of white lips have been jammed in the box together with each other. The Timor just shed the male, and now he's with the female. And then the scrubs might be locking up, and then the Dunai have been in the box together. So it's like we could get a bunch of shit plus carpet pythons plus,
Wow.
the Madagascar hognose are gonna blow up like they do every year, and all the other things. So it's like I could be drowning in babies. I'm pretty sure is I won't say it because I don't want to jinx myself, but this could be a good year, and I would really, really appreciate that.
Are you doing Hamburg in
Oh
the
yeah,
end of
I'll be there.
February?
Yeah, you guys gonna come by?
Yeah, we're gonna stop out.
I love that I do the Hamburg show, and I'm the table after Eric Kohler and Jason Balin. So I see Keith and Teresa come in, and then they're here, and then it takes them a good hour to get to where I am. They are.
You are the first person we see.
I'm like the third person in line, and it's like nope, any minute now. And then they get here, and then they do their walk around, and then sometimes Keith just comes back with these like, "Oh yeah, I got this." I'm like, "What the?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think it'd be cool." And then but I will be there. I will be set.
Good.
Do you have anything left on the list, Keith, that you haven't worked with or worked with in the past that you
Chomp at the bit to get
back again?
Yeah.
I see myself, like I say, getting a few more lizard species for sure. I'm definitely going to get some leaf-tailed geckos. I like those. I wouldn't even mind having, even though they're common, a pair of jeweled lacerdas. I think those are really cool. You can keep them in the pair, and
my friend just got a pair.
Lizards, very active.
Yeah.
And they look like a big lizard in a small package. So I kind of like to have a pair of those again.
That's cool.
Man, I wish I could get some horned lizards. If I could get a diet and all that, man, I'd have a couple pairs of those too.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, you're getting older, and and you're starting to think about these animals and stuff, and you think when you get older, you're going to want to maybe take a break from animals. I just want to get more. Like
it's the refuge, man, and it's the like. I can still do reptiles. I can still have fun with my guys.
Yeah, it's just something that's in your blood, right?
Yeah.
No matter how hard, like I think this past year was probably the year that I was closest to like leaving the hobby. But now I'm like, just as, obviously it's a better year, but I mean I guess that helps, but like, I don't know. It's like, you just got, I think for me, I think I'm probably like you too, but just don't want to admit it. It's like, I need that. Cause I do this with music, right? I will like go obsessed with a band or a guitar player or something. And I'll just like, everything I listen to, everything I'm playing has everything to do with that. And then eventually one day it just turns off, and it's just like, well, now I want to do something. Now I want this, and it moves to another thing, But I just try to be careful with animals with that, because I don't want to be like, I have these, and then it's just get rid of them and move on to the next thing.
I mean,
I'm not like you, Owen, where I can do 500 plus snakes. There's no way I can't do it.
We're getting close to Owen's limit. Okay,
can't do it.
We kept talking about how we'll eventually find Owen's limit. We're finding it. It's getting there. I trust me. But
it wasn't fun. And then like when you like try to figure out like what's not fun part about it, and it's like, I'm not seeing what I like about animals. It's the observing them doing what they're doing. Like,
right.
To me,
everybody should experience the hobby in their own way.
Sure.
And how they want to do it. Like, if you
That's
wanna
why I was
set up-
saying that you don't have to be a breeder to be somebody that's
we've been
legitimate.
saying
Like you,
this forever. Like it's not like it's listen, I don't breed for other people. I breed for myself to see if I
Sure.
can breed this thing, and also so I can improve my projects that I want to see. And then
Right.
you all can fight over the scraps that I don't want. Like that's the whole point of my breeding scheme.
Right.
That's what it is. So like it's
Sure.
but you know, if you dig, like if Keith's next thing is building giant elaborate enclosures to watch his leaf-tail geckos hunt down whatever he put in there, or just like eat a banana that he threw in there, and that gives him some semblance of, you know, oh, this is so cool. Like, oh, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
More power to him. If his thing is that he wants to get a retic that he can feed goats to, I don't like, I mean, like, okay, but like I would do it responsibly, please. But like, more power to you. That's your thing. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to tone it down. There's nothing wrong with having my adult ADHD herpetoculture collection of pretty boa, like pretty thing. Like it's whatever, man.
Yeah. I will say that I feel like every snake I have, I feel the need to breed just to feel successful with that species.
Yep.
With the Lanthanotus and the Shinosaurus, I'm fine with just having them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm gonna try breeding them, but
Sure,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
care if they breed. I just like everything about it.
And maybe that's the next iteration of part of your collection, is that where it's just like setting them up, letting them chill, and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I kind of feel like as I get older, it would be like just my thing would be like going into the snake room, having a cup of coffee and sitting there in my morning breakfast and watching, you know, what happens as my snake room wakes up in the morning. You know, the lights are coming on and that, you know, that kind of stuff. So
Teresa will come downstairs and I drop some earthworms in the Lanthanotus, and I'm waiting for them to scent them and then come out of their hiding spots and find them and hunt them down and, you know, devour them. And I'm just like, you know, there's nothing happening in the tank while I'm waiting for them to come out, but I know they're going to come out. And I'm just
staring.
She's like, "What are you doing?"
Waiting.
Waiting for the land.
Waiting. There's that picture Ari posted of Keith like at the Bolin's enclosure, like on his stomach, like I'm just watching it do whatever. And like the Bolin's is asleep. Like, and it's just like, so I imagine that
things are not as exciting to watch as lizards for sure. That's that's for sure.
It's like watching hours.
Watching paint dry. You know, it's like, oh wow.
I think another thing to keep us engaged is to surround yourself with real kindred souls and not get caught up in the hobby drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you guys, you know, Craig and Gavin, and, you know, just talking to the people that I'm really close with, even when your collection might fade in your head, just being engaged with the people that are like-minded kindred souls, I think keeps it alive for you to the next exciting thing that you want to do with your collection, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, and that's, was it having, going to Keith's for cookouts and stuff like that with all these people who keep a bunch of different things, and just having us all come collectively together to just bash Gary Schiavino to his face.
That's gotta energize you.
I mean that brings it to a whole new level. Like
Owen.
I love you, Gary. I'm sorry. But it's just to have
Gary saying some smart ass.
I'm gonna get an email, but
he's so good at that.
I don't even go at Gary because Gary's too quick-witted. He comes back and just destroys
that's why
it.
I do it here where he can't get me. So
I think he's probably the only one that might be a little bit wittier than you.
He's fast.
Like you guys dance a little bit on the, you know.
He's quick on the draw, but the fact that he can. But anyway, it's fun to have that where it's like people who keep differently,
100%.
Different stuff, different things, different collections, different ways. And to still have a hangout where you can all kind of come together with that. Like it's really important to have that.
You
There's
know,
no way you can go to Johnny's house and not get
I don't have skinks. I've never kept skinks, but I'm like, what the hell is this? Like,
but his passion just lights a fire in you again. If you're feeling burnt out, go to see Johnny, man. He'll light you up.
I was literally thinking about messaging him was probably going to message him soon because I wanted to pick his brain of how can the big things that he sets up for skinks, how can that be tailored for like Gila monsters? Like, how would you do that? And I'm like, I could probably just bug him about that. Like, but not yet. I'm waiting. Now that I just threw that out there, he might listen. So
he might call you.
He might call me, which maybe that was the plan all along. Yeah.
Well played, sir. Well played. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to throw out there? Or
I'm good.
I'm golden.
Oh, you're good. All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith, for coming on. Pleasure as always. Always love talking with you. And hopefully we get some we get to at least come up and see you this summer.
Yeah, I'm
or whatever.
looking forward to hanging with you guys. I wish I could talk you guys into going to Daytona. We have such a good time down there. Owen, we hang, we have a good time.
Dude, I would love
Eric, you gotta get down there.
When is it this year? Do we know when it is?
August 14th and 15th.
That one I may
rooms already.
That one I may spring and just either, if I can't figure out the fly thing, just drive it. Like that might be.
Let's just drive, dude.
All right,
let's just do it.
All right.
I'll take off the weekend. We'll drive down.
Yeah.
We'll stay at a
we'll have to get a hotel or beg to sleep on.
I'll start looking around.
Cool.
And we drive too, so if you do decide to fly, we can drive anything home for you.
He did that. He drove Cyrex back for me, and then my children's pythons. Yeah. And I made horrible decisions because I knew Keith was there and he could take this for me.
Yeah, we wanted to make a point of getting out to at least one show this year.
Yeah.
So Daytona will be it because October is Australia. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tinley.
You lose. I mean, I can still go to Tinley, but
you can.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
No.
All right. So, Keith, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, best way, Facebook, just send you a message or.
Yeah, Facebook's the best way. Reach out anytime you have any questions, anything I could help with, or just talk snakes, whatever, man. Give me a call.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Yep. And for us, I think next week, 600. Guess 600. What we're doing, Owen?
I don't know.
Crossover episode.
With?
Justin and Rob.
Are we going to fight? Are we going to argue?
No. No. We're going to talk about herping for carpet pythons. We've never done a show like talking about herping with carpet pythons. So Rob had asked me to come on the show, and I said, let's do a crossover type.
No, I'm going to fight. I'm going to pick a fight.
You're going to fight?
Yeah, I'm going to fight.
I don't want to fight the carpet pythons.
No, I'm going to
flip.
Suck. No, I'm going to flip my own coin and be like, carpet pythons suck, and I don't want to find them. Rebuttal. Like, yeah, right.
So that's the next one. And
cool.
And then I'm trying to line up that show for Imbricata and wheat belts and Western blackheads. AB pythons. Would be so nice to talk to somebody with Imbricata.
That'd be fun. And then,
even though we can't have them.
Yeah, to keep the dream alive.
Yes.
And then I think other guests too that are coming. So cool shows coming.
Yes, Patreon. You can go over there, check it out. And we got some stuff happening there, so you see what we have going on. And what else, Owen? We got some cool things happening with the network. We're not going to announce it yet, but a couple shows are going to get added. Trying to take it up another notch.
Couple notches. We're going to try to figure out what we can do with that. We're adding a couple of. We had a couple of meetings, so
yeah, we might be sending out some feelers for some people to do some shows.
Yeah, or also technical work. If you're very good at editing and other things like that, please reach out if you want to join this craziness that we have going on over here. And then, so we'll keep up to date on that stuff. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch everybody back here next time for some more Morelia Python Radio. Good night.
Brendan was a little off this time, Alan.
Well, it's because we didn't record it because you keep saying we're going to